Yeah, this is Mark McNutt, and I'm here with your monthly astrological update, which I like to do at the new moon. I'm going to talk about what's going on now in the planets and the stars. As we're filming this, it's December 3rd, and there is an eclipse, a solar eclipse tonight. It's a total solar eclipse, but you can't see it unless you're in Antarctica. So if you're in Antarctica, you're probably not watching this right now. Um, and eclipses affect us anyway. The time right before an eclipse is a dark moon time, and it's always a little bit difficult to talk about the next moon when it hasn't happened yet. But I guess that's my job. Because at the dark moon, what happens is it's the culmination of everything that comes before it. So you combine that with that we're between a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. We're in that time period, and it's a total release time. It's a total time to really feel your stuff. And so particularly if you've been feeling your stuff the last few days while the moon was in Scorpio, this is probably in a crowded company, and we can all have compassion together. I'm going to talk today about the eclipse, the build up to the eclipse, Sun, Moon, and Mercury being in conjunction. Also, Venus and what Venus is doing. It's pretty interesting happenings with Venus in Capricorn, and then it's going to conjunct Pluto, and we'll be discussing that one. And that one in particular would have all kinds of ramifications depending on who you are. So, again, personal reading time. And anyway, so then there's Mars, and I'll be talking about being in Scorpio, squaring Jupiter, and moving into Sagittarius, and Saturn square Uranus, and what that means, and a little bit on Neptune right at the end. So I want to cover the planets as a whole right now because this is a month of diversity, and there's going to be a lot going on, and it's different for each person. So the bigger picture always has to do with your own personal map and how to navigate that. So consider getting that reading, and also consider liking us and joining us. It doesn't cost anything. Well, here we go with what's going on in the happenings in December. So at the new moon is the eclipse. It's not like, oh, it's an eclipse and a new moon. No, a solar eclipse is a special new moon when the sun, moon, and Earth line up, and lunar eclipses are also that. It's just, displayed differently. And so solar eclipse is a time of new beginnings and a time to stimulate the functions of that sign, which happens to be Jupiterian Sagittarius. So Sun, Moon, and Mercury are both smack dab right in the middle of Sagittarius, which means it's a very mentally stimulated time. You're probably spending a lot of time online about now. Look, you're doing it right now. Strong Mercury energy that's been going on. This isn't, fresh news, but it's a powerful time to make communications, to set your intentions on a mental level and in terms of your integrity and what you want to accomplish. So it's not so much the Gemini end of things, but more the tuning in with the Jupiterian, the part that wants to be bigger, better, more so, with your mental energy. And I should mention that when it's opposite, there's a birthday boy here right at the moment, and when it's opposite your birthday, it can be a more challenging time because you have to go in a different direction. So all my June 3rd friends out there, and you know who they are, this is remember your half birthday. So moving on, Venus. Venus is one to pay attention to right now. It's slowing down to a stop and about to go retrograde on about the 18th of December. And Venus is all month. Venus is conjunct Pluto. Pluto's transformation. Venus is love life, social life, self-esteem. Very powerful planet. And so Venus conjunct Pluto is going to be I don't know, plutonium with your love life. Another way to put it would be transformation through your personal interactions, and that's that sort of thing. As Venus slows down to a stop, and as it goes into retrograde, people often are like, well, what's that good for? It's the necessary exhale, and Venus will be retrograde second half of this month and all of January pretty much. And Venus retrograde is a time to re-examine your relationships, to redo, renew, to look at things that relationships, the lessons of it, and letting go of what no longer serves you. A lot of people break up under this aspect, which is not likely until right before Christmas, right before the light returns, because Venus is going to be, in a very strong conjunction with Pluto, and not moving many degrees in the course of the month. Now, when we look at the visible spectrum of the stars, we see Venus as pretty much the brightest star, the morning and evening star, depending on, where it's at, and it's going to switch places during that retrograde, because that's how the light gets in. But anyway, Venus is just lingering there in the same place as Pluto, which we can't see, and yet we'll be feeling it. So big transformation, good time to let go, good time to kind of set the standard for the new year. And up until that time, up until mid-December, we can expect just a lot of action. And so be good with your word, walk your talk, and you'll probably do just fine. Now, there's a short term, Mars is going to be in Sagittarius on the 12th, and before it does that, between now and the 12th, Mars is going to be in square with Jupiter. So that kind of means being sort of like aggressively pulled in a lot of directions, and it can also bring up the shadow energy. Mars in Scorpio can be little intense. And I don't want to paint too much of a dark figure for it, but it's like, because the remedy to, possible darkness and that kind of thing, which could be anger, violence, frustration, etc. The remedy to that is to motivate strongly for the things that you really believe in, and for moving the energy forward. To use it, there could be a lot of frustration during that time, and you want to use it as empowerment, use it as like, what action are you going to take? And so when Mars goes into Sagittarius, it's going to be more of shooting those arrows in the right direction. Anything else, Mark? Yes. Saturn and Uranus are in square with each other during the same time period, which is... I was kind of hoping we were done with this one, because we've been in and out of it for over a year, and great examples of Saturn square Uranus, Saturn being in Aquarius, super idealistic but determined, Uranus, ruling planet of Aquarius, being in stubborn, strong-willed, rock-hard Taurus. And so basically there's a lot of stubbornness in the air, isn't there? Almost like, we sometimes forget that we're actually all humans, and that we're one family, even if we don't always agree with each other. So a lot can be said about Saturn square Uranus, but basically it's the rigidity of the time. And so, of course, when does that get over? Well, basically early January. A lot of stuff moves at the end of this particular lunar cycle, which happens to correspond with New Year, which makes it easier to explain. And one more, Neptune. I work with planets going retrograde, stationary, and direct a lot. Neptune is stationary direct today, meaning it came out of retrograde in the last 24 hours, and it's going to start to move forward. So all you Neptunians out there, people who are strongly Pisces in particular, will really flourish under this kind of aspect, and it's a time to kind of live your dreams. People who have a hard time with Neptune, who are, more in square with it, more Virgo-y or whatever, there can be some challenges, and particularly with the Sagittarian planets, as they, basically the biggest obstacle we might have right now is about reaching out for being totally honest, and also and being in our integrity, walking our talk, and not being spun around too much by externals. It's like go for what's real. So I'm looking forward to this time, and it's a powerful time. So every eclipse, usually it can bring up a lot of stuff, but it also moves a lot of energy. So this is a very unstuck time between now and the end of the year. So uh, get on to not shopping and whatever you're going to do. And I wish you well. The last salmon are decaying in the river right now, and so it must be just about winter. So happy winter to you, happy winter solstice when that happens, and happy eclipse. Oh, and get your reading. Get your personal reading. It's a great Christmas gift, and I like to get really specific and give you 110%. And that's how I'd like to do this. These are free gifts to you, but I really love to do the reading. So, love to hear from you.